Ladies and gentlemen, here to sing America the Beautiful. He's with us every year, and he's just sensational, young man. Welcome, Mr. Robbie Britt.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties, above the fruited plain, America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful, for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, I love you, America. May God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. For patriot dream that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's been with every one of our shows since its inception. And he's just a wonderful, wonderful writer, master of ceremonies, and actor. Would you welcome Mr. Stanley Ralph Ross, please.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Welcome to our annual show, celebrating the city we all love and couldn't wait to get the hell away from. There are two types of people, New Yorkers and those who wish they were New Yorkers. And no matter how long we spend here in the sunshine, we still feel like New Yorkers, isn't that right? We've been doing these New York Alumni Evenings for 14 years. But it all began 6 years before that, with the Lincoln High School reunion at the home of Bernie Kornfeld. We expected 200, and almost 1,000 showed up. It was then we knew we had something. Graduates from other New York schools called and asked how we did it. And a few years later, we all combined into this group. So this is actually the 20th anniversary of when the movement started. 20 years. It's longer than 3/4 of all the California marriages last. So much has changed since then. So much. Let me see. In 1979, we had a Southerner in the White House, Jimmy Carter. There was unrest in the Middle East. The Los Angeles Police Department was under fire. And the Dodgers had just completed a miserable season. Maybe not that much has changed. There was a crisis at the Bronx Zoo. I don't know if you read about it. A female gorilla was in terrible heat. And she wouldn't let any of the male gorillas near her. She just kept slapping them away. She was getting meaner and meaner. And finally, the Bronx Zoo authorities, they had to do something. They went down to the docks on the west side, and they found a 7-foot-tall Bosnian who had just gotten off the ship. And they said, look, we have a problem. We have this gorilla, and she's in heat, and none of the gorillas can satisfy her. So, look, the price is right, $500. Are you interested? And the Bosnian thought a minute. He said, well, on 3 conditions. Well, what are they? Number 1, no kissing. All right, no kissing. Number 2, if there's a baby, you keep it. I don't think there'll be a baby. That's okay. What else? Well, it'll take 2-3 days for me to raise the $500. Now, how does one introduce a Renaissance man? He's an actor who starred in Murphy Brown. He's the writer, creator behind Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley and Mork and Mindy. He's the director of Pretty Woman, Runaway Bride, and so many, many more. And he is one half of what must be the only brother and sister directing team in motion picture history. Here is Penny's older brother from DeWitt Clinton, Mr. Gary Marshall.
Hi, how are you? How are you, Penny's brother? You know me. What do you like, the house lights, up or down? You like them this way or down? Down. Can you put them down a little bit? The sun is in their faces. They don't want to do that. Hello, Jerry. Where are you? You here? He's here. Jerry, nice to see you. It's good they put Marty Landau near you, because it should be a Jew and Italian, you know. And then they had a search for a Gentile. They found Dick Van Patten. He was at a luncheon. It was the Martha Stewart Take a Gentile into Your Garden luncheon. Dick was there. They pulled him out. They said, come here for Jerry Vale. Jerry from the Bronx, the Child's High School. I went to DeWitt Clinton. Look, we don't need applause for every high school. It's nice. But Vanda had girls, Clinton didn't. Which one of us is more normal, Jerry? We talked backstage. I'm excited. I had a good year here. We had a fun time, and we did a show called Runaway Bride, which, I wasn't, that's nice, you went, it's good. We made money. It was good for everybody. But we shot it in the small towns. Now, you know, when we were starting, we played the small towns. There's no more small towns. I was all over Maryland, and every barn now has a satellite dish. It's everybody has a VCR. There's girls with goats on a rope saying, where do you get a prenuptial agreement? They all walked out. Everybody knows everything. But even at such a nice time, and here you are being honored, you got to remember from where you came. We came from the Bronx. I'm sure we grew up similar, where we had advice from our parents. I'll never forget my father. He looked at me, put his hand on my shoulder. He said, son, do everything in moderation. And then he fell off the bar stool. Boom, he went down. I had to lift him up, but he taught me. He taught me many things. But the most harrowing thing growing up was the girls. Now, it's changed, Jerry. Did you see this American Pie movie? Did you see this? A boy put it into a pie. What is that? Put it into an apple pie. Happy Days, Fonzie never put it into a pie. What the hell is going on? Did you put it into a pie? They told us things about liver in a milk bottle, but never. Did you hear that story? They never, I mean, the things we had to learn. What the hell was, ladies, talk to each other. What was blue balls, Jerry? What did blue balls mean? They said, you said to the girl, if you don't do it, I'll get this thing. And then they said you went out and you got to lift car bumpers. What the hell was that? That took it away. This stuff that they told us, I don't know how we grew up. Here's a guy today putting in a pie. We used to try to watch Miss Rheingold contestants and do it. That was the highlight we had. Miss Subway occasionally was cute. Archie Andrews, we had Veronica and Betty. That was our sex images. But you went, and you did, women never did it, by the way. Women did not touch themselves till 1962. Prior to that, they went horseback riding. Right? That's what everybody did. Mommy, I want to go horseback riding. Every 12-year-old running around. Where's the horses? Let's go to the zoo. 1962, it was allowed. But growing up, you remember the career. Some things went bad. Some things went good. I was very honored growing up in the neighborhood in the Bronx. 2 years ago, I went back. They had the Bronx Hall of Fame. And I was very honored. They took Rita Marino, Red Buttons, and myself. And we went back and we got our street named on the concourse, a street I couldn't cross when I was growing up. And then they put us in a float last year, and we came down the Grand Concourse, and it was crowded with people. None of them knew us at all. None of them knew us. Humbling. Red Buttons got up. He looked on both sides of the concourse. He said, "No Jews," and he sat down. That was it. That was the end of his float. Reno yelled out in Spanish our credits. Happy Days, pretty woman, she yelled. West Side Story. They didn't know us at all. So it's always good to be humble. And I was thinking, you're such a success now. Remember the jobs that weren't so good. I remember one job I was telling, one of my first jobs was with Shari Lewis, a lovely lady, wonderful lady. And I wrote for her. And you would write the jokes, and then you would go to her, and she was so sweet. So sweet. Oh, boys, you tried very hard. Isn't that nice? And then the puppet, Lamb Chop, would be there. Said, you tried very hard. And the puppet, Lamb Chop, would say, this is shit, boys. This is no good. You got to do better than this. And Charlie would say, oh, Lamb Chop, be quiet. I'm telling you, this is shit, boys. But, true. My partner finally said one day after a session, he said, that's it. I'm no longer writing for cloth. That was it. That was our height. But the point is, Jerry, we had those jobs. We didn't quit. You stayed with it. You stayed with it until maybe something happened. You got a lucky break. There was luck in this business. I remember one of my luckiest things, I did a show called Joni Loves Chachi. Right? It was okay. No, it didn't even so work. It was pleasant. A smash in Korea. In Korea, a smash. I got lucky. You know why? In Korea, the word chachi means penis. Right? They were running to the sets in Korea. Joni Loves Chachi. Turn it on. People pushing each other. We got to see this show. Oh, it was lucky. You get lucky. But here we are today at an event. It's changed as the years go by. I have a friend, Marvin Braverman, a guy who used to open for you, a wonderful comedian. A few years back, we're all in that point with the prostate, right? We got a little of this, a little of that. He had a thing, and he had a catheter he had to wear, right? Came to play basketball, right? Wearing the thing, right? Nobody would guard him. Let him through, let him go through. That's where we have reached. But to sit here today and know you came through all these different areas, the highs, the lows, the ins, the outs, I know that you still remember that no matter how big you get or how well you do, you could never please your parents. I know your parents are gone, mine are gone, but I'll never forget at one of the heights of my career, I went to my dad, and they were all the same, the parents. They stuck together no matter what. I went to my dad, the height of my success and said, Dad, I'm doing good. What's your dream? Let me give you a dream. And my father said, well, I always dreamed I would get a white Cadillac. I said, you got it. And I went to my mom. I said, I'm doing good. Let me give you a dream. What's your dream? Dad's dream is to have a white Cadillac. What is yours? My mother said, my dream is that your father doesn't get the white Cadillac. That's the parents we grew up with. Jerry, congratulations.
And now a special treat. When we did that dinner for Back to Brooklyn Day, a very funny guy came on stage and fractured us. A born and bred New Yorker from John Adams High School in Queens, he flew out here especially to be with us tonight. How about a huge alumni welcome for Mr. Jack Fontana?
Thank you. How you doing? Good. Where you're from? Good. It's a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, an honor for you to see me here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say my name is Jack Fontana. It was a very nice round of applause for someone you never heard of. Well, it's my fault. You see, when I started in show business, I said to my agent, Sal Richards, you know, I'm not looking to be like a big star. It's been working out pretty good, to tell you the truth. I got to tell you, it's an Italian name. We have any Italian people here? Hey. I've been in Italian now for about 12 years. I work in the Catskill Mountains a lot. I got to tell you, people can't pronounce my name in the Catskill. You ever go to the Catskill Mountains? Mister? This is it. I give you an idea. I was sitting in one of the hotels in the Catskill Mountains. I'm sitting in the lobby having a knish. The gentleman recognized me, started to run over. But it happened to be a singles weekend. Hey, you're the comedian? You're Jackie Funununu. I said, no, Fontana. Oh, yeah, Faccianata. You're Jewish. I said, I'm not Jewish. Come on, you're Jewish. I said, if it makes you happy, I'm Jewish. Yeah, you look Italian. I know what the Italian mothers look like when they dress up. I bet your mother wears a black stockings, a black dress, black pocketbook. I bet she got a bun up here. I said, my mother doesn't look like that. My father looks like that. I said, you want to meet my dad, 92 years old? I brought him here tonight. You want to meet my dad? 92 years old, ladies and gentlemen. He's sitting over there with his parents. It's only a joke. There's nobody there. Get it? Yeah, but you know, Mr. What was the name? I'm from Brooklyn too, you know. Anybody from Brooklyn? Are you? I'll make you feel at home. I love Brooklyn, don't get me wrong. I have a summer home there. And you know what I love about Brooklyn? I love the people. I love tough people. I'll give you an idea. I went to Brooklyn last week. I asked for directions. I said, excuse me, how can I get to 40th Street? He said, what do you want, freaking 40th Street? You see that freaking stop sign? Make a freaking left. You go 3 freaking lights, another freaking left. You'll see freaking 40th Street, okay? I said, well, thank you, Father. I'll tell you, they're tough over there. The nuns were tough in Brooklyn, too. We had Sister Rocky over there, I think. She had tattoos over here with a pack of camels rolled up here. Yeah, but it was, you know what it is that being here tonight is a wonderful evening, you know, meeting all these celebrities. I love celebrities. I had the honor of meeting Ed Sullivan years ago. I loved Ed Sullivan. You ever watch Ed Sullivan? Mister? I got to tell you, when I watched Ed Sullivan work, Ed Sullivan always remind me of a chicken. You ever see Ed Sullivan? What was wrong with this man? Well, he was hard to understand when he spoke. There's a lot of people that are hard to understand when they spoke. I met Sylvester Stallone. What? I met Jackie Mason, hard to understand when he spoke. I said, Jackie, you got a great personality. He said, I thought it was not the type of personality people don't have. Here's not the personality people don't have. You got it. What? Thank you. Thank you. I met Rodney Dangerfield. This man is a nervous wreck. You ever see Rodney?
Hey, I tell you.
I'm okay now. Yes, I was in rough shape. I got no respect at all. The other day I wanted my shoes. I went to pay less. They told me I had to pay more. But you know, you meet a lot of morons in this business too, you know. Yeah, morons. I know morons that play lotto. I met one guy who won $10 million. The government says, you won $10 million? We're going to give you $1 million a year for 10 years. He said, nah, I want the money all at once. He said, we can't do that. Oh, yeah, well, give me my dollar back. Oh, I met a moron carpenter. She built me a fireplace out of wood. The whole house burned down. That was it. I got my neighbor. Last week his garage was on fire. He comes running on my house. Jack, what's the number for 911? I got a neighbor who's a Polish man. Any Polish people here? Why? What are you doing here? Two Polish guys are talking. One say, Stash, look at that dog over there with one eye. The other guy goes, See, the dog had one eye. I met a moron grandmother. She didn't want any more grandchildren. So she had a hysterectomy. I had a waitress. I didn't believe the waitress. I ordered breakfast. I said, I'd like to have a cheese omelet. She said, you want an egg with it? I said, mix it with the cheese. I was at the airport. The chauffeur picked me up. Another moron. I get out of the plane. The chauffeur is holding up his name. I said, but I got to tell you, for the Italians, my dad many years ago came here to Palermo from Italy. Anybody from Italy? That's a joke. See, Palermo to Italy. Are you okay? But I got to tell you, when my dad came here years ago from Palermo to America, all he came with was the clothes on his back, in his pocket. He had $4 million. That's in cash. He had all singles. But I had a fly when I came here. I had a fly. I got a problem when I fly. I have a phobia. It's called detophobia. You ever hear that? Yeah, I get very uptight when I gotta fly. I bite my nails, I perspire, I wet my pants. You know. That's on the way to the airport. So I had to fly. I went to Kennedy Airport, and I had to fly no frills. You ever fly no frills? Well, that frightened me. Usually on the side of a plane, as you know, they got the name of the airlines written on it. This had aeroplane. There. I always sit in the rear of the plane, the safest place to sit. Did you ever hear of a plane backing into a mountain? Did you? You have? Now, I get onto this plane. We have 300 passengers on the plane. Now, what they gave us to eat? Macaroni with beans. You don't give 300 people on a plane beans, you know. Did you ever eat beans? Lady? How long ago? An hour? Give her a new seat, will you, please? I love macaroni and beans. Oh, I had 9 bowls on the plane. Talk about pressure. When you eat a bean, it's not like when you're home eating beans. You know, the time comes, you roll the window up, you know. On a plane, those windows don't roll up. It got so bad with the beans, the oxygen mask came down. You gotta... Now, I got to go to the restroom. I was sitting in the rear of the plane. The restrooms are all the way down the other end. I said, I'm never going to make it. Not with 9 bowls. I said, excuse me, how you doing? You ever see these owls? They're 4 inches wide on these planes. Excuse me, how you doing? What a pretty baby. What's the baby's name? What? Don't yell. I had 9 bowls of beans, lady. What happened to your hat? I get in the restroom, I gotta wait on line. You've been on a plane, you gotta wait on line. Now I felt something coming on. You know. I knew it wasn't a song. But my wife was on the plane. She said, honey, all you have to do is just squeeze your cheeks. I said, oh, whoa. Worry. Now, when that happened, I didn't realize in the back of me, there was a guy tying his shoe. You had to see his toupee. It was... I burnt his eyebrows right off, this guy. But I'm enjoying myself here. Oh, there's another gentleman I had the honor of meeting many years ago. He was a great drummer. I started as a drummer many years ago. There are many famous personalities that started as a drummer. I don't know how many people know that Alan King was a fantastic jazz drummer. Did you realize that? Are you people from this country? Yeah. Mel Brooks, one of the finest drummers. Buddy Rich said he was one of the finest. Mel Brooks, of course, Bobby Darin, Charlie Callis, and I started as a drummer. Matter of fact, guys, you know what I like to do? I like to give my impression to these lovely people of Gene Krupa. All right, ready to go?
Fabulous.
You've been a delightful audience. God bless. Jerry Vale, I love you.
He's been a star on Days of Our Lives for the past 25 years. But what many people don't realize is that he was a star on Broadway before that and appeared in musicals such as Me and Juliet. I remember seeing him in that. And even had a gold record for The Ballad of Davy Crockett. With his wife, Susan Seaforth, they're preparing to appear in I Do, I Do. Ladies and gentlemen, the inimitable Mr. Bill Hayes.
Somebody just said to me, you're not from New York. I spent 21 years in New York. New York is home to me. Of course it is. I lived in Manhattan. I lived in Queens. I lived out in Nassau County. I played all the Mountains dates. That's where we did your show of shows. Sid, Imogene, Carl, Howie, Marguerite, Judy, Jack, Mel Tolkien, Lucille Callan, Mel Brooks, Charlie Sanford, goes on and on and on. Sure. I would, John asked me to do something autobiographical, and so with the help of Bill Casilli, my conductor right here, I would like to do something that's autobiographical. Here's this for you, John. When I was young, I wanted to have a career in opera, and so I learned by heart each part I wanted to play. So when the time arrived for me to appear in opera, I knew there'd be no harm in my singing a role in Carmen. The handsome toreador would be okay. Toreador, garde, toreador, toreador. Et songe bien, oui, songe au combattant, NY te regarde, et que l'amour t'attend, toreador, l'amour t'attend, ta, ta. But very soon I found grand opera was not so grand. Too many things about it I couldn't understand. But if I tried for something lighter, then my future might be brighter. With Gilbert and Sullivan, I could take a chance on a starring role in the Pirates of Penzance. I am the very model of a modern major general of information, vegetable, animal, and mineral. In short, it matters vegetable, animal, and mineral. I am the very model of a... But no. But even then, I knew I really hadn't a clue to just exactly what it was I wanted to do. Till someone said, instead of this coarse opera, try your luck in a horse opera. Then, if all else fails, you can ride them happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until no. But with a sigh, I said goodbye to the wild, wild west. With ghostwriters in the sky, I wasn't at my best. And so I moved along to a new kind, a dependable, tried and true kind. Not grand or light or horse opera, but sexual intercourse opera. With plots tied together like pieces of string. Performers who don't even have to sing. With groans, grimaces, and gropes. They're the operas we call soaps. Murder, mayhem, incest, rape. You can see them all when you watch the bold and the beautiful meet the guiding light down the hall. Heartache, sorrow, search for tomorrow, all the days of our lives. I'll wait in the general hospital until the doctor arrives. I'll watch over all my children, the young and the restless are they. In another world I may find them, in Santa Barbara by the bay. So goodbye to Giuseppe Verdi, and hello to NBC. Where there's a lovable lug whose name is Doug. That's a role just right for me. Every weekday morning on national TV. Or syndication, yes, that's the perfect place for me. Ole! Hey! That was for John. Well, it's partly true. Thank you. It's partly true. I was on Days of Our Lives a lot. I've done almost 2,000 episodes of it, and I love it. It's where I met Susan Seaforth, who became my wife. And next week, we will celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary. It's been fabulous. And one of the nice things that happened on Days of Our Lives was that my character owned a nightclub. And it was called Doug's Place. And in the nightclub, I sang. We had a lot of good singers on the show. And Robert Clary sang, Kay Stevens sang, Gloria Loring. These are people who were under contract and sang quite regularly. It was really nice. My wife and I really fell in love on camera. It was nice. And I got to sing to her love songs. And this is the one that we sang most. It's really a wonderful song. The look of love is in your eyes, a look your smile can't disguise, a look of love. It's saying so much more than just words could ever say. And what my heart has heard, oh, it takes my breath away. I can hardly wait to hold you, feel my arms around you. How long I've waited just to love you. Now that I have found you, you got the look of love. It's on your face, a look the time can't erase. Tonight, let this be just the start of so many nights like this. Let's take a lover's vow and seal it with a kiss. I can hardly wait to hold you, feel my arms around you. How long I've waited just to love you. Now that I have found you, don't ever go. Oh, no, don't ever go. Don't ever go. Thank you. Thank you so much. I have one more song that I'd like to do, and I'd like to dedicate it to a person who inspired me long ago, and he doesn't know that he inspired me so. In 1943, late 1943, I was in the Navy. I was in my sailor suit, and I went to New York City. And like many sailors, I went to the stage door canteen. I met Guy Kibbe, and I met Helen Hayes, and I remember talking with her and telling her that I had an Aunt Helen. And it was very sweet and warm, and they allowed me to buy a ticket to the Ziegfeld Follies of 1943. And the star of that show was Milton Berle. And he was incredibly good. He sang, he was mad, he was funny, and the thing that impressed me more than anything else was he tapped. He was a fabulous tap dancer. He made his entrance, in fact, in the top of the show with a line of tap dancers, and they were going, you know, really fast, and then they all cut out, and he stayed on and starred in the show. He was incredible. So he really was an inspiration to me, and in a way encouraged me to be a part of show business, which I have been now for 50 years, and it's been a wonderful time. One more thing before I do the number. In 1955, I did have the Ballad of Davy Crockett, and Milton invited me to do his show that year, and he presented me with my gold record. I did the number on that show, and he gave me the gold record. He's been a great guy, and it's so thrilling for me to have him here tonight. Anyway, now, to get to the number, in 1990, when I was 65 years old, I started going to tap class. And so I'm going to dedicate this number to Milton, and I'm going to tap. I'm going to tell you how I feel about tap. Are you ready? Here we go. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7. I salute the military tap. I clap for flap. I love to tap. Think of Tommy, too, in his tall top hat. A riff and a scat. A rat-a-tat-tat. I'm in heaven stomping out a waltz clog. A double shuffle or shim-sham. And there's no flim-flam, say joy is the essence of soft shoe. Or skip-tim-a-loo down the avenue. Life is a snap. I'm happy doing a tap. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I got no scruples, I do quadruples. If I ever get bored, I do a maxi Ford. If I need to relax, I do a few drawbacks. A zoop-op-to-bop or an old flea hop. I get my kicks by doing a time step. Or an old Burt Williams chugging the chug. Why, I feel so smug, say, I tell my troubles disappear. Get my life in gear. It's so good I cheer. Whoopee! A buck and a wing. I feel like a king when it comes to I'm always a sap. Just love to tap. I mean, love to tap. I said love to tap. And a 2. And a 3. Thank you all, and let's go out on that. I'll start it off. I just love.
If you haven't been to New York in a while, you should know that 42nd Street is now Disneyized. Ever since Beauty and the Beast went into the New Amsterdam, there's no hookers, no weird stores, nothing. But if you walk to 8th Avenue and you make a right turn, you can still find a few adult toy shops in operation. So I was walking on 8th Avenue, minding my own business, when a limousine with Connecticut plates pulled up, and Katharine Hepburn got out. And she walked into this adult toy store. So I followed her. I had to see what this was about. And she approached the owner, and I'm standing just off to the side, and she says, "Do you sell vibrators here?" "Yes, ma'am. Any particular kind?" "Do you sell them 8 inches long?" "Yes, would you like to see one?" "I know what it looks like. Can you just tell me how to shut the damn thing off?" You've seen him in such movies as 3 Days of the Condor, for which he won the New York Film Critics Award, and Fortune Hunters, hundreds of TV shows, and even more personal appearances. And he'll be opening with our honoree, Jerry Vale, in Syracuse at the Oneida Casino. From DeWitt Clinton, our own Hank Garrett.
Buenas noches, señoras, señoritas y otros amigos. Yo tengo mucho gusto en esta casa grande. That's about as much as I learned before my maid went back to Guatemala to have our baby. Had a little bit of a situation coming out here. I was involved in a minor traffic infraction. I was guilty of making an O-turn. It's when you make a U-turn and change your mind. Stopped by a police officer, and I guess I wasn't in the best frame of mind. I said, "You do not know who you are fooling with. I happen to be a very close friend of Lou Zygmunt. You fool with me, I will have both you and your commanding officer walking a beat in Pacoima." The look on his face as he leaned over and said, "Sir, would you mind lowering your window? I can't hear a word you're saying." I got to tell you something quite honestly, I miss New York. I miss New York because there was a sense of family and warmth that I never found anywhere else in the world. It's the truth. Any given morning, my grandmother, my grandfather would get up. Then my mother and father would get up. Then my Uncle Charlie and my Aunt Rose would get up. My cousin Seymour and my cousin Ruth would get up. Then my brother Murray and my brother Sal would get up. Before you knew it, I had that whole bed to myself. I never slept alone till I got married. But I moved out here at the advice of my agent in New York. He said, "Go west, young man." Moved to Encino. Encino. We bought a $90,000 house for $485,000. But the advice of my friends, they said, "Hank, if you're going to live here, you must find yourself a good family doctor. There's some interesting doctors in Encino." Ventura Boulevard. One doctor had a sign in his office that said, "Death does not mean an end to your financial obligation." You know the doctor. I have a question. You make an appointment to see the doctor at 2 o'clock. You show up at 1:45 because you do not want to keep the almighty waiting. Go into the waiting room, kill some time, you pick up a magazine. I picked up the latest magazine, and I remember saying to myself, "Oh my God, the Lindbergh baby's missing." It is now 2:30. Nurse comes out and she says, "Will you follow me to the examining room?" You put the magazine down, you go into the examining room. You're there for 15 to 20 minutes. You've got nothing to do because you left the magazine in the waiting room. What do you do to kill time? You go through the drawers. Take a few Band-Aids, a couple of cotton balls, souvenirs. That's all they are, souvenirs. I made a huge mistake. The souvenirs I took were tubes of Vaseline and KY jelly. Now, the doctor comes out and says, Mr. Garrett, since you're over 40, I have to check your prostate. Puts on that one fakakta plastic glove, goes to the drawers and says, this is going to hurt. I said, why is that, doctor? He said, I can't find the tubes of Vaseline or KY jelly. I said, oh, God. Doctor, I just happened to bring some from home. And the rest of the day you walk around sounding like this. I recently did a show at the Jewish Home for the Aging. And it was there that I learned that they're giving the older gentlemen Viagra. Not for sexual purposes, but just to keep them from rolling out of bed. One elderly gentleman walked to the doctor and he said, Doctor, I'd like to have a half of Viagra. They said, why half? He says, I just need enough to keep me from peeing on my shoes. An elderly gentleman is riding along on the 405, and his cell phone rings, and it's his wife. And she says, Morris, please be careful driving by the 405. I just heard on the news there's a car going in the wrong direction. Morris says, one car? There's hundreds going in the wrong direction. There was recently a documentary done on television about the Wailing Wall in Israel. And the production company was shooting, and every morning they noticed this one gentleman standing there praying. And they approached him and they said, Sir, can we ask you a question? He said, of course. We see you here every morning. Every morning I come here for 39 years. 39 years I come to pray. What do you pray for? I pray that my family, my children, and my grandchildren should never want anything for food, should always have shelter, a roof over their heads. And then I pray for universal peace. Have any of your prayers been answered? It's like talking to a wall. Two gentlemen are speaking. Would you believe my wife got PMS at 82? Another guy says, big deal, I got AT&T 75. PMS, 3 letters that strikes terror into every man's heart. PMS stands for Positively Maniac Syndrome. I can always tell when my wife is getting PMS when she sits in the kitchen in the morning stirring her coffee with a butcher knife, staring at me like I'm a pot roast. And now I'm suffering from something with 3 letters. MPB. I notice a few gentlemen here have the same problem. MPB, male pattern balding. You can always tell when a man is losing his hair when he starts parting it lower and lower and lower and combs the 3 hairs over to one side. Balding in my family's been a terrible curse. My Uncle Leo, completely bald, not a single hair on his head, worked in a ladies' shoe store as a sales clerk. He was putting a pair of shoes on a rather sizable young lady who had her head turned to the side. When she looked down, she saw Uncle Leo's bald head. She thought her knee was sticking out. She picked up her dress to cover what she thought was her knee. Uncle Leo thought the lights went out. He started groping for the light switch. His case comes up next Thursday. Thank you so very much.
reason they call it PMS is because mad cow disease was already taken. Sorry. Ooh, I knew I'd get the women on that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to present a special citation, we have one of our former honorees who, with his wife, Patty, was honored a couple of years ago. He's immediately recognizable by billions across the world due to the hundreds of TV and stage shows in which he's appeared. The father of a show business dynasty and a giant in the industry, Mr. Dick Van Patten.
I'm going to give an award tonight to a great talent. The first time I saw him was in the early 40s at the Martin Beck Theater in a play called St. Louis Woman. And he played a jockey in the show. And I had seen him in movies before that. But when you see him do these amazing things in the movies, well, it's on film, so you figure, well, it's like trick photography or something, and it's still, you appreciate it. But when you see this man and his brother in person do these phenomenal things, it lingers with you for days after you see the show. It's just almost impossible what they do. Anyway, the legendary Fayard Nicholas, he is some guy.
Thank you.
With his brother Harold, they have been entertaining audiences for 60 years. Fayard danced into our hearts in the 1930s, and he was in the fabled Cotton Club with all the luminaries of that time. A Tony Award winner, a recipient of the prestigious Kennedy Center honors, Fayard has seen it all and experienced it all. And throughout the good and hard times, Fayard's charismatic personality and smile have shown him as a positive role model for everyone. But the wonderful thing about Fayard, when you see somebody so talented, and then you meet them, and they're completely unaffected and unassuming, and it's such a pleasure. I have known and admired you for many years, and it gives me great pleasure to present to you the New York Alumni Association's Melting Pot Award.
Wow.
Here you are.
Yay! Look at that. How about that? Thank you very much. Well, it's great to be here, and it's a great honor to receive this award. And I'm telling you, it's so wonderful. I've been in this business now, my brother and I have been in this business now for 70 years. Uh-huh. That's a long time, isn't it? And we're still doing our thing. This is what we call show business. Okay, fellas, are you ready? Over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Hey! It don't mean a thing. All you got to do is swing. Makes no difference if it's sweet or hot. Give that rhythm, give it everything you got. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been wonderful. I'll see you later.